Hi, and welcome to Overwine, hosted by yours truly, Ethan Malambo. I knew I wanted to film an episode tonight. I just can't bring myself to talk about anything romantic right now. I can't bring myself to speak about my romantic relationships right now. At least not while drunk, I can't speak about it. But by the title of this episode, you might be thinking, oh, Ethan, you're going to piss people off. Oh, Ethan, who knows what you're going to say and who knows what I'm going to say. Listen, I took a few sips before I started the episode and it's okay, it's working. I would speak about where I got this bottle of wine from, but like I said, I don't want to speak about anything romantic. Yeah, this is my complicated relationship with religion, or just where's my faith in general right now. My view of religion it's been shaped by experiences. I can say that, I've found, or not I've found, but I'm at a place now where I'm like, this is what I believe. This is it. And when I speak to people who are religious, and I don't like sharing my religious views, I don't like speaking about my religious views to people who are religious, because I don't want to be challenged on it, in the sense that I don't want the hypotheticals of, oh, but what if? When I speak about my religion, this is what I am, this is how I view it, this is how it is right now for me. You tell me what you view, and maybe I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't think of that before, but this is why I do this. So maybe that is challenging me in a way, but in a proper manner. I don't know. I've had this conversation before. The last time I spoke about my religion, seriously, I was challenged. I had to go back and forth with people, was in grade 12, which was 2 years ago. And it was so exhausting. It was so exhausting. And I don't think I've delved into it since then. I've told people oh, I'm not really religious, but XYZ, and I haven't gone into it, but yeah, today we are. And I wanted to speak about the church, the Bible, God, and faith in general. This might be your least favorite episode of Overwine, and this might be your favorite episode of Overwine. But let's get into the wine. This is Porcupine Ridge. We know her. She's reliable, 2022. She's actually got me hot. I'm warm in my clothes now. I don't know if I'm going to pour that much, just because I took quite a few sips before this. So, yeah, let's get into it. Chenin Blanc, you will always be famous. You will always be famous. Oh my God. You will always be famous. I want to say she has I want to say a woody smell. It's a woody with a light sense of fruit. Yeah, I think it's predominantly woody and a light thing of fruit in it. It goes down really easily, but I can say that with all white wine. All white wine goes down easily. But I want to say with this one, you kind of taste the alcohol. What you're tasting is what will get you drunk, and you can taste that as you swallow it, but it's really good. Just for the mere fact it goes down easy and it gets you drunk, I would recommend. I think it was $70, $60 or $70. Yeah, which is what all the wines have been so far. The church, let's get into it. So my neighborhood is Afrikaans, and my neighborhood is Afrikaans. It's predominantly majority colored people. It's Afrikaans. I speak Afrikaans. That's why my accent too. But yeah, as we know, it's Afrikaans hood. Afrikaans hood means Afrikaans church. And the church I went to was Pentecostal. One of my friends, we spoke about it for 2 seconds, and one of my friends told me that, oh, the church you went to is Pentecostal. Can't remember what that meant, and I don't have the energy to do a Google search now, but that's what it means. Okay, that's what it is. I'm gonna say I was forced to go, because I remember from age from like ages like something like from grade 1 to like 1 to like 5, I want to say. I didn't go to church like, or from X until grade 5, I don't remember going to church. And one evening, my mom was like, "You guys are going to church tomorrow?" And I was like, "No, like why? I like my Sundays. I used to love my Sundays. Like, oh, Sundays just used to hit." And I remember I didn't like going to church at all, like to Sunday school. I didn't like it. First of all, I was English. Everyone that went to my Sunday school was Afrikaans. Everyone knew each other because they all went to the school in my neighborhood, and I didn't go to the school in my neighborhood. I went to the school in Stellenbosch. I was predominantly like around white kids because I went to a white primary school, and I don't know, I didn't leave my house. I didn't go play on the park. Like I didn't go out much. So like I didn't know these people, and everyone knew each other, and I just wasn't excited to go. And I don't know. I don't want to say I was forced because I could have most likely said no, and it just would have been like a huge argument. But like really at the age of 5, not age of 5, but like in grade 5, who's challenging their mother? Like, come on now, like who's challenging them? If your mom says go to church, just go to church. Like, and that's what I did. I remember it was Sunday school, and then after Sunday school, we still had to go to church afterwards. And I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. Like, wow, like in the Sunday school, we sang Afrikaans songs. Father Abraham slapped though. It was the only song that we sang that was in English, and I knew the lyrics. So I like the Father Abraham song. I can say like, when that one comes on, I know the moves, I know the words, yes. But I didn't like it. I remember I would wake up. I can't remember what time I used to go, but like I didn't have like a phone that time, so I didn't know like what time I would have to go or get ready. And I always used to wake up early on Sundays. And I remember I used to hide behind my door. I used to hide in my closet just because I wouldn't want to go. I would not want to go. But somehow like my mom would always find me, and it would be like, get dressed. Sunday school, she'd be like, "Kan jy nie Sondag school toe nie?" Like, "Aren't you going to Sunday school? Aren't you going to Sunday school?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, let me get ready." And I just didn't like it. I went to Sunday school from grade 5, I think, maybe grade 4, grade 5 to grade 8. And then from grade 9 and grade 10, you have confirmation classes. I don't know the word, we call it katkesand class, and I don't know what katkesand is in English. So that's what we would have in grade 9 and grade 10. And I just remember I didn't enjoy the experiences. Like I remember the nicest times we would have was like after Sunday school, like when my baby sister went, we used to run home sometimes because it would be like the buildings were right next to each other. So when Sunday school is done, you go to church, you sit through church, and then you go home. I remember like when my baby sister used to come, I'd be like, "Do you want to go home? Let's go home." And then we would walk like the long way back home just so that nobody would see us. And it was just so fun, man, because we used to stop at the shops. We used to chat, we used to chill. Like it was just fun. That's crazy. I'm listening to myself and I'm thinking that's crazy. Like that's crazy. Wow. But I did not enjoy it. I think also because who I was as a person, like I didn't speak. I remember for all of my confirmation classes, I did not speak. Like I didn't participate to answer. I was the quiet kid. Everyone knew me as the quiet kid, which was crazy because when I went to school, I wasn't really the quiet kid. I wouldn't speak unless spoken to, and they really spoke to me because they knew I was English. For confirmation classes, like I just remember like, "Ethan, just get through these like few years and then you'll be seen as an adult in the church when you get confirmed, and you don't have to come back again." But I can say the church is where my doubts with religion started coming in, or I want to say the tears in my faith and stuff, because I used to like pray and stuff, and like, yes, I used to believe. Like I remember before I went to sleep, I used to pray like, "God, please look after my family, please, 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 please." That's all I would pray for. And then with the church, things started. I can say there was like one monumental moment in this subject of church. My confirmation class teacher, she would get mad at us when like we didn't come to classes, because I think if you missed like 3 classes or something like that, you'd have to start the year all over again. And one time, I remember confirmation class was in church. It was just before everyone was there. But one time she was getting mad at us for not coming to, I always went to the things because I had like no choice. But she was getting mad at the kids who would like have multiple absences, who didn't come to the Wednesday night church service, like who didn't go to those things. And she said like, if you guys miss, she said this all in Afrikaans, by the way, if you guys miss all your classes and you won't get confirmed, and if you don't get confirmed, you're not going to heaven. Like, I'm sorry to say it, you're not going to heaven if you don't get confirmed. And I remember she said this to us, and my mouth was on the floor, because first of all, like, wow, that sounded like repressed. Like, she's like, you're not going to heaven. And I was like, first of all, who are you to dictate like who goes to heaven and who doesn't go to heaven? And I was just like, that's like, I just thought it was like such a crazy, like, my mouth was on the floor because I was like, there's no way she just said that. Like, I had my doubts about religion that time. Like, I had my doubts. I just never like bothered to like look into them. But I was like, something. That's when the fractures. I was like, something is not. That woman, I don't like her anymore. Like, I didn't like her before, but after she said that, I was like, wow. And the way nobody else reacted, I didn't think people cared. She reminds me of Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. That's what she reminds me of. I don't know. I just started thinking, who are people in and out of church? And people I saw in church who I knew outside of church, I just knew they were different people. And just like, like, you're kind of not a good person. Just because, like, I know you, and I know you're not a good person. So, like, what are you doing here? Like, this kid that called me the K slur while going to buy bread, like while I was going to buy bread, and he just blurted out the K slur, I would see him sitting next to his mother, and I would just be like, surely not. I'd be like, surely not, like, surely not. And also, because my church was in Afrikaans, our songs and our hymns would be in Afrikaans, so I didn't fully understand what I was singing or like what I was, because like I can speak Afrikaans, I understand Afrikaans, I speak Afrikaans, yeah, but like some of those words were so like high, like it was so like up there that I didn't know what I was saying, I didn't know what I was singing, I didn't know what I was praising. And eventually, as I was like said, like I didn't really enjoy being in church. I used to count the minutes, and like as I was counting the minutes and stuff like that, I would just imagine, like, I disassociate almost, like, from the outside looking in. We are all seated in these rows and all these things, looking to one man to preach to us. We're singing these songs, and it just, I don't know, from the outside looking in, it just gave me, like, weird vibes. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I actually used to ask myself, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And we get to a point where I just wouldn't sing the songs anymore. I just look around at all these people and be like, they are so devoted. They are singing, they are giving money, like they're doing all their things. They are so devoted. And also, our church used to like, there used to be this lady or sometimes a man who would like go through all the announcements, and then they'd say like, oh, last month we made like 33,000 Rand and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, where does all the money go? Because they're not really like improving the building. And like, I remember asking my sister, like, where does all the money go? And like, oh, we give it to the pastor. And I was like, we give it to the pastor. And she's like, yeah, the pastor keeps the church going. And I just, at the time, I didn't get what she meant, because I'm like, the church is going to be here regardless of the pastor. So how, you know, like, I didn't get that. And I, like, at the time I questioned it, and I just thought it was such a weird thing. I understand now what she meant. And now that I think of it, maybe like a sense of community and belonging in my church would have helped the experiences, but it is what it is. I just knew I was confirmed. I was done. I think after I was confirmed, I went like once or twice, and then, yeah. Now let's move on to the Bible. I need to preface this by saying I haven't read the Bible in full. I have been exposed to quotes. There are some parts I know from confirmation classes, but it was in Afrikaans, and my mind really, like, I can't remember that much. After I'd been confirmed and stuff like that, and I got to explore what I thought. I was in grade 11, 12, and I got to like not research, but Google like my thoughts on religion and my questions about religions and like everything about it. It was just hard for me to believe in the Bible because, like, first of all, the content, from what I remember, it was just like, it was so hard for me to believe. And from the conversations I've had with people, I've understood now that like it's not supposed to be taken at face value. You're supposed to make your own interpretations of it. I'm like, okay. And also what I didn't like was it was more of like a justification for people to hate. I didn't come out until I was like in grade 9, but it was like such a thing. I was scared to come out. I didn't have to be, like, my family was quite chill. Like, I didn't need to be scared to come out. But I was like, we're so deep in like religious values and all those things. I was just so scared. And every time, like, they were like in my neighborhood, like almost everyone in my church, almost everyone in my neighborhood went to church, but people were still so homophobic, and I just couldn't understand it. Like, I just couldn't understand it. And from what I've experienced, the homophobia was always based on a Bible quote. And then people would challenge that Bible quote with another Bible quote. And I'd just be like, so the Bible is, I just saw it as like something that was contradicting. And that was like also another reason why I couldn't believe in it. I was out in high school. After I came out to my family, I was just authentically myself. And there was this one boy who said to me, I've forgiven him now. We forgave, we forgot, we moved on. But I just want to speak on his words because it's just something that stuck with me for like until now, into my 20s. Like, it's back there in the files, but I just remember it. We're speaking about religion. And I was speaking like, okay, like you say, like people, like kids, the guys in my grade, they were saying like they're so like progressive and all those things. I was like, okay, you're progressive, but you justify your hate for gay people with the Bible and religion. So like, what now? What now? And this one boy, he said to me, he was like, my people can't really support your ways because we believe that you're like spawned from the devil. I just remember I froze. Like, first of all, I froze because I was like, what now? I was like, what now? Like, should I be expecting violence? Like, I froze, like, not good freezing. Like, I was like shocked. I was scared. First of all, I was scared because people get killed, man. Like, people get killed. And I was just like, I just thought about that. And I was just like, oh. I was just like, oh. And like, also, I think it was kind of sad that like nobody like challenged him on those views. Nobody like, oh, like maybe you should consider. Like, he said it. Conversation ended even. And a year later, he apologized. I think this was like in grade 10 or 11. And a year later, he apologized. And I was like, oh, it's cool. Like, I almost forgot about it. Didn't. But it just stuck with me. I was just like, wow. And I think literally that was the last time I spoke about religion. Just because I didn't want to bring it up again. I didn't want to be faced with that again. Because it was just, I don't know. I was just very scared. I didn't bring it up again. I didn't speak about it again. Yeah. Now, I want to move on to the topic of God. Capital G. I used to say, or still do say sometimes, that I don't believe in the Bible, but I believe in the idea of God. In the sense that it's someone you can call on to listen to you. Just clasp your hand and he's there for you. It's unconditional love that's awaiting you. When I was challenging my views on religion, when I was questioning it, I was like, where was God then and where is God now? A lot of the content for university that I've been exposed to this year was about colonialism and slave trading and the real experiences of slaves. And I just used to think, where was God to stop that? The way it's been set up is like he's all powerful, omnipotent. And I'm just like, where was he to where was he then? Something that was like so monumental on how the world is now. Where was he then? And I was like, I was angry. I didn't even know him like that, but I was angry with him. I was like, where were you then? And also with all our wars now, like currently it's Palestine and Israel that's taking the forefront of discourse around war. Like, where is he now for those people? Just this omnipotent figure. And sometimes I'm like, I just really wondered like where he was. And from that also, when I said like from the outside looking in, like when I disassociate sometimes, people will pray. Yes, like I said, it's amazing that you have this person you can speak to who will always listen, that you're told will always listen. But how do you know God is listening? How do you know God is listening? Or when you pray to God, are you praying to God, or are you just putting it out there and hoping he listens? Feel free to tell me in the comments, please. Like, I genuinely want to know everyone's views. Please tell me in the comments, like, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me what you don't agree with. Tell me what your stance is. I really want to hear everyone's POV. When you are praying, when you are speaking to God, how do you believe he's listening? Do you see the acts happen? Just how do you know he's listening? That's what I want to know. And now, faith and religion. When, like before with religion, I was trying to think of, okay, Ethan, what would you say like faith is for? From what I know currently, I haven't researched, but I don't know if there's anything after death. But what I've understand religion to be, it's if you give your life to God, if you follow these commandments, if you repent before a certain time, because I remember one of my friends told me that Christians always have to repent. So if your repents are up to date and all those things, and when your time comes to die, you go to heaven. And heaven is described as like heaven, like it's where all your family members are that have passed away. It's where there's no hurt. Everyone is happy. Everyone is in white. And it's in the sun. I still believe heaven is in the sun. And I just understood that, like, okay, people are subscribed to religion because they want to go to heaven afterwards. They want to go to an afterlife. They just want assurance that there is something after death. And that's how I understood religion. People only subscribe to religion because they're not sure what's after death. That's what I used to think to myself. And I say this, I'm mentioning this because when I did share, or when I did choose to speak on like what my views on religion are, it's like always something that left people like, oh, like I never thought of that. So I'm hoping it also leaves you guys like that. Now, the main reason why I decided to speak on this specific topic today, and why I said I can't speak on any of my romantic experiences, is because I'm I'm in this moment in time, I'm so depressed. Like, it has never been this bad. And I'm seeing a counselor / therapist, but we're barely breaking the ice, to be honest. And he's asked basically, I'm going now because how I used to deal with anything was through willpower. Like, my friend used to ask me, like, okay, if you don't believe in religion, what do you believe in? I used to believe in myself. Now, try and listen to this with an open mind, because I explained this to a friend before I started filming, and she just said it sounds like, in a sense, lazy. Basically, what people have found in religion, I've found within myself to an extent. I remember in June, July of this year, I went through one of like the worst depressions of my life. It was physical, and it was here. It was whatever was happening was here at school. And I told myself, Ethan, you're going to go home. Home is like rehab. I don't go out. I don't drink. I don't smoke when I'm at home. I do nothing when I'm at home. I just rot in bed, basically. That's what I do when I'm at home. I said, Ethan, you're going to go home and you're going to rehabilitate yourself. It's going to be like rehab. Home is rehab. That's what I was going to do. And I got through it. I didn't allow myself to think about what was happening until I was working out. And when I was working out, it gave me motivation to keep going. I forced myself to get out of bed. Like, I physically, like, I forced myself, like, you are going to get out of bed. You're going to put one foot in front of the other. You're going to move. You're going to walk. That's what I told myself. Like, in my thoughts, like, okay, get up now. You have to get up now. You have to get up now. You have to move. That's what I did. And I got myself through it. And even with depression, I'm like, okay, Ethan, you're not going to stay in bed. You're going to get out. You're going to go outside. First of all, you're going to brush your teeth. You're going to take a shower. You're going to get dressed. You're going to put lotion on. You're going to do all those things. And then you're going to leave your room. And you're going to go to campus. And when you're on campus, you're going to see everyone is busy. You're going to feel the need to be busy too. And you're going to work. That's how I got through my days. As long as I've been depressed, I remember having this willpower within myself. Like, yeah, I found self-love. Like, oh, no, but Ethan, actually, like, everything you're looking for, you have within yourself. I used to, like, all those things I told myself. I just found it within myself. Like, when I needed assurance, I'm like, no, Ethan, you're only human. Like, come on now. Like, relax with yourself. Like, yeah, it'll be better. Like, it'll get better soon, Ethan. Like, this is one of how many days. You're only 19. You're only 18. You're only 17. You're only 12. You're only, like, you know. That's what I used to tell myself. And the depression has just gotten so bad that I don't have that willpower anymore. Whatever it was, wherever it was, it's gone. It's gone. And I really miss it. It's gone. And I filmed this because I wonder, like, if I had faith, I just feel I would be so much better off now. Like, I would be, it's just how I see people, when I see faith and depression or religion and depression, you pray, you go through Bible verses. I'm sure there's like selected quotes. You go through Bible verses. You just believe that everything is going to get better in the end. And from the outside looking in, I can't do that. I can't. Like, I could, physically I could, but just, I wouldn't be there. Like, in my heart, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it. Like, and that willpower is gone. And I wish I had faith as a crutch. And when I have chosen to tell people about my journey with religion and the church, God, the Bible, everything, I do think sometimes, like, do they just think it's unfortunate that, like, I had a bad church, that my relationship with religion is skewed, like, almost the role that parents play in childhood development. To the extent I believe, like, yeah, like, if you have a good church, your relationship with religion will obviously be better. And I'm sure people think that, like, that's what I think when I tell people the story. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure they think, like, if I just go to a better church. And things like, I can't go to a better church also because I've been so out of it. I just haven't been, like, practicing religion. I haven't been subscribing to it. So I wouldn't be able to be there fully. I wouldn't be able to, my heart wouldn't be in it. And yeah, I just wish I had faith right now. That's what I'm saying. I just wish I had faith right now. Yeah. I have wine, at least. It's really good wine. And I sometimes wonder, like, will I ever believe? That was actually crazy. I genuinely haven't spoken about this topic in, like, a good while. In a really good while. In, like, such detail. Like, confirmation class, my church, the boy from high school. I haven't told people this, like, and please, I'm gonna put, like, polls and, like, I don't know if I can put, like, question-ish answer, but if you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to comment what your journey has been like. Please feel free to comment, like, if you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, possibly what you think would help. Also, when you think of mental health and faith and religion, what's your thing? Like, you believe in the chemical imbalance, you believe in giving yourself to God, like, just pray every day, do these certain things at 12 o'clock, you do these things, and it genuinely helps your depression. I would like everyone to share their journeys. I would like everyone to share their opinions, just because I'm at a place now where, like, I believe that when I speak about religion, people are open to hearing opinions that differ from theirs. And it's just like a learning moment for everyone. everyone can just share their views. And that's what I want. So please, 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 please. That was the last sip of wine. And I just want to leave you guys with this quote from 1 Corinthians 13:13. And I know about this quote because I was looking for like a witty name for this episode. And I was thinking faith, hope, and me, or faith, hope, and something, something, something. And the name faith, hope, and something, something, something comes from Faith, Hope, and Trick, which was an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I watched religiously in high school. But then when I Googled it, I actually found it's a religious thing. As a closing to this episode of Overwine, I want to read you guys what the quote says. 1 Corinthians 13:13. So now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, but the greatest of these is love.